and once we've gone through that point, it's like a sort of like a horseshoe type shape, so like a curve, but it's a bit wibbly and wobbly, right? So as you come through the big yellow cones, our challenge then is to not touch any of the little ones.
So go for on the left, yeah?
Can do, yeah. So slow is key, and nice, hard, accurate hands.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. So slowly as we go. Right, so as we come in through the first clutch down. That's all right. If you pop us into neutral if you
I
want.
got confused with the two.
It's okay, clutch down. And then into neutral and then engine on. That's okay, so you got muddled up with which pedal to push down. It's okay, mate. Right, so we'll have another go at pulling you forward slowly, and as we go through the first block of 4 big yellows. Now we've got a red and an orange in the middle of the. It's okay.
Just
Yeah, you're all good.
I can make sure.
It's okay. Good, so clutch down again. There we go. So as we come through the yellows, there's a red and an orange in the middle of the track there. That doesn't count. It's just the main. You can see the main
So
part.
someone's hit it.
Yeah, and then the wind blows them out. Just make it run as a. That's it. Good.
Yeah,
It's
just
okay.
went over them.
That's right.
I think those were the ones in the middle there, weren't they?
Yeah, I think we're looking good. Right then. Slowly as we go. This is the tight bit.
That clutch is really eager.
Well, we're doing well. Doing good. Right, and then as we come through the next group of 4, we're going to gently bring the car to a stop.
He's going to come in there.
It's okay, we'll just come to a stop here, that's absolutely fine, and then they can get into the slalom zone. Perfect, if you pop us into neutral, then you can relax your pedals. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go back onto the road circuit. You'll be fine there. We're back onto the road circuit, and we're going to be working on these clutch control skills, and also the steering skills. Okay, so chances are we're not going to need as quick or as big a turn for the most part. A lot of these bends are quite long sweeping bends. But some of the sort of what we call T junctions or the emerge type junctions, then we may well need a bigger turn. But just making sure that we've got that clutch control there. Try not to be too eager to dump that clutch. Just making sure that we're staying away from any walls or pillars and posts and stuff like that. And if we have to cheat, then so be it. You know, obviously I'd rather your hands cheated than we hit something. So
Yeah.
try as much as can to plan for the good new skills that we do. But yeah, if you need it, then that's an option. Right then, so we'll make our way round and to the right, and then we're then going to turn left because we're on the one-way part of the car park.
Okay, so I've got to go round to that and
Round to the right and then round to the left. Good, hands. Good, clutch down, and we're going to be turning to the left. That looks better. Hands. There we go, what do you reckon? Wheel clear or?
yeah, then coming out. They'll be there right away if they're coming out.
That's it. Good. As always, we're cautious that there could be people coming up the ramp. We've got a few more people started now.
Going through the
Onto the two-way again, yes please. Good. We're going to be turning left at the give way sign. Right, so Rick one's going to come round.
I'm just gonna wait for them to go just so.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. You take your time. We're in
Just
no
in
rush.
case. Just in case.
Yeah, then that lets us focus on our hands and
Flash
feet.
them to go.
No, they'll do what they want to do.
Yeah, let them go first.
Yeah. Nice big turn in, feed it in. Good. And then try and feed it back. Right, so what we started doing is we've got one hand working like crazy and the other hand's just staying put. So try and get that one to join the party a little bit and share the workload, and then that way we get an extra turn in whilst the other hand's then getting ready to continue that turn. Just continuing ahead for me, please. So you know what I mean, but like a mirror image. So you've got one hand doing the turn and the other hand's getting slided around to bring it
So left up here.
Yes, please. That would be ideal. Thanks. So do our mirror signal. So what we'll start doing is a nice little paired mirror before any signal goes on. Clutch pedal down for me.
Pull up a little bit.
A little bit more, so that we're sat on top of both of those disabled bays. Would be good.
Let them go.
Up to you. What do you reckon? Right, is it safe for us now? Yeah. Right. So slow feet. And we want to get these hands doing what they need to do. That's better. And then same feeding back. There we go. So that's a lot better in my eyes. Anyway, touch down. Touch down. It's okay.
Still going, isn't it?
Yeah, we're okay. Got to little bit. Not to worry. Right, into neutral. Into neutral. Good. And then engine back on again. That's fine. So when you hear it fire up, let go of the key. Yeah. Right, so slowly as we go with that clutch pedal. I need the middle one. So we just key up behind this spot car in front. So a signal here, we don't really need a signal for this one.
I'm just overly cautious with signaling. Oh, sorry, it's too hard on the brake.
A little bit, but we're okay. The main thing is that we stop.
You're going around like a rag doll. Sorry. I'm just a bit nervous.
It's okay, mate, you're doing brilliant. Well, what do you reckon? We all clear?
To creep forward a bit.
That's the one.
The car coming up behind us.
Yeah, they're okay. So if you're happy there's no one on the ramp, off we go. Then we're then just going to queue up behind the white car for me. Nice big turn, properly. That's better. And feed it there, let go. That's it, right then. So we're going to go through the gap in the white canes this time. That's it. Off the brake. Oh,
Christ's sake.
it's okay. Back into neutral. And then we'll go engine back on again. It's okay, come off your brake pedal for me. Right, so when you hear it start, let go of the key. Let go. That's better. Not better. Off the brake.
When I stall it, can I put the handbrake up because then I feel a little bit more safer?
It's harder to get started, we will get onto that,
Yeah.
but it's easier to move away without it on at the moment.
So a gap in this white cone.
That's it. Yeah, and what we'll do then, if you want to use the handbrake, we can, off we go. So yellow one's on the left and white one's on the right. We'll make our way around and we'll park up somewhere, and then I'll show you what we need to look for if you want to use the handbrake. That's it, you got it. back up.
Just not sure if they're turning
Right,
with the
okay.
signals.
So for them to make that turn, they would have to cross our path. And in this type of junction, that means we get to go first. Okay? Alright, so just following them round, just following the big one.
Sorry, I'm
That's
just
okay.
trying to straighten out.
Yeah, that's fine. Touchdown. And we're then just going to follow that big white car there all the way around. Right, so as we come around the corner, can you see just after the stairwell, there's 4 yellow cones.
Yes.
Yeah. What we're going to do is I'd like you to park up so those yellow cones are next to my door. So go in through the gap. Good. That's it. Touchdown. Change it to a stop. And then if you go into neutral, then you can relax your feet. Lovely job. Right. So what we're going to do then, as you're after using the handbrake, to use it, all you've got to do is push the button in, pull up nice and high, let go of the button, let go of the handbrake, and then to release it, you pull up and push in at the same time. If you don't pull up, it won't let you push the button in. So you pull up and push in, and then keep that button in all the way down to the bottom.
Okay.
When the handbrake's on, you see there's a red warning light on the dash, and that has to go out before then it's off. Because there's different stages to the ratchet. See, so it sort of goes
Be a
down.
light handbrake and then a strong handbrake.
That's it. There we go. Right, so that's how to use it. But the feet, the pedals, if I go into first and find the biting point, so far we've been used to the car just moving away. Because the handbrake's holding the back 2 wheels, the car's going to act differently. You feel that judder? That's telling me that we're nearly at the biting point. The next thing is we need to look at where the bonnet meets the tarmac, and when I lift my foot up a bit more, you see the bonnet lifted up a little bit there. If I push the pedal down, you'll see it will drop. So you see that gradual lift. Now that's the biting point. So if we go handbrake down, you see the car's ready to move at that point.
Yeah.
So when you release the handbrake, you still got to hold your foot still, wait for the car to start rolling, and then we then work our way off it later.
Okay.
Making sense?
Yep.
Yeah. So you're pushing on the clutch pedal, you don't need the foot brake. Whoops. What do we do? Neutral then. Right, so when you twist away, when you hear it start, let go. That's better. Right, so back into first, we don't need the foot brake. Slowly up to your biting point, so we want to look for the car to start changing. So the judder's the first one, and we're looking for the bonnet to lift a little bit, clutch down a little bit, so just nice and gentle movements. There we go, no harder than that, clutch down a little bit. We only want subtle symptoms. The bigger the symptom, that's fine, but what will happen is when you release the handbrake, the quicker you're going to move on. Okay? Now because the symptoms have gone, we must have dipped that clutch pedal down a little bit, so we need to come back up a little. Right, hold your foot still there. Check round the car, are we safe to get started again? Yeah? So handbrake down and hold your feet still. There you go. Clutch up a little bit. That's the one, you got it, you know the drill now. That's better braking, well
Calm
done.
down now.
I think they're doing some bay parking. So we should be okay.
So how many days a week does this operate?
It's usually every other weekend. Sometimes, like this month, it's been consecutive weekends.
Okay, but then you've got the winter months, then it's every other.
Normally, even through the summer, and it's always every other. So we're going to aim for the gap in the white ones.
Bit eager.
That's it, working our way off that clutch pedal.
Bit eager again.
That's okay. Good, so once we've got that momentum sorted, we want to be working our way fully off that clutch, so we're not even touching it anymore. There you go. So that's the end goal, is to be fully engaged in that, all of the gear, all of the engine. yeah, so there's different venues across the country, and a lot of the instructors do sort of float around a little bit and do the local ones that are to them. We're going to take the first turning on the left one, please. That's it. Signal down for this one. Good. Now we're going to head up to the roundabout and we're going to turn. I was going to say turn left, but the white fours still blocking the junction, so we're going to follow the road ahead. Second exit, please, at the roundabout. So we're all clear on the right, so we can keep on rolling. Go slowly with that clutch release. There you go, that's better. I want to work our way fully off the pedal. That's better. So you're relaxing down a little bit now? A little bit happy about it? That's it, so it just follows to the left.
Nope.
That's right. Work your way off the clutch pedal forward, mate. There we go. So ideally, what we need to do with that clutch foot is not get into the habit of it just going down.
Bring it up as well.
That's it. So what we want to make sure is we weren't preparing to stop there or changing gear. All we needed to do was slow down a bit compared to what we were doing. So you're actually better off keeping that clutch pedal up. If we was to clutch down, like say for example now, that's right, you don't need it, then that would be what we call coasting. So the only two times that we're allowed to clutch down is if we're stopping and or changing gear. So like here, all we want to do is slow down a bit, so it's okay to keep the clutch pedal up and ease off your brake and continue ahead for me. There you go, that's better feet, straight on for me.
Go down the round.
That's what we're going to do now. Right, so as we come up to the second zebra crossing, what I'm going to get you to do is a couple of toots on the horn. Okay, now what we need to anticipate is gravity is going to try and speed us up. So we're going to make sure we keep that clutch pedal up and just a little bit of braking as we come down the slope. There you go, then round and to the left. Ease off your brake. Off the brake, off the brake. Don't need that one anymore, straighten it up. There you go, I'm going to give these guys parallel parking a bit of room. There you go, lovely job. Right, so for us to get back up onto the top deck, we're going to go to the very last of the 3 ramps, the upward ramp. Now it's important that we don't touch any pedals to get on when we're on the ramp. We do need to get those wheels back to straight again. And when we've got straight wheels on the ramp,
down just
you're okay as you are now, yeah. That's right, off the brake.
that.
Yeah, they're okay. They would have stopped if we had gone. Right, into neutral then for me.
I'm still there as
Yeah,
well.
that's okay. Into neutral. Into neutral. There we go. Engine on. There you go. Right, so back into first. Now what we're going to have to do is when the car's rolling, we're going to have to work our way off that clutch pedal, otherwise it's going to be really hard for you to make it up the ramp. So we still, okay, just have to wait until we're rolling, so into neutral. Right, so into first. Right, so we're going to slowly get the car rolling, and then once it's rolling we'll work our way off the clutch as we aim for the middle of the space. Good, off the clutch, big turn, okay. Right then, just going to help you out with this bit then. Right, so what should we do? If you turn the wheel your side, come off the pedals, turn the wheel your side. The way I'm pointing is your side. There we go. And then what we'll do is we'll straighten back up again. There we go. Right, so what we'll do, come off the pedals, mate. I'm doing the pedals. I've done this before. I'm not going to end up in IKEA.
No,
Right
it's
then.
just I can see the.
Yeah, big old drop that one, isn't it? Right then, so what we're going to do is a little bit of bay park. I think is the best way for us to turn the car around. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do the reversing part, but you're going to be in charge of the hands. And what I want you to do is we're going to pick a line. So probably not this line here, but the next line that we
Can I
come
come up a bit as well?
if you want to, yeah. So it's that right lever.
I need to bring the back support up.
Oh, sorry, yeah. I feel a bit better. Yeah. Right, so what we're going to do is, so not this line that's here, but the next line along. What we're going to do is we're going to wait for that line to line up with that bit of your door handle.
Okay.
Okay. When it lines up, we're going to do a nice big turn to fall off on your side.
Okay.
Right. Sorry. Here we go, so we'll have a good old check. So straight. So we're going to wait until that line lines up with our door handle. Yeah. There is it. Nice big turn. Yeah. There we go. Lovely job. Well done. Now when we do this, the front of the car is going to swing out, so we need to check to the front and to the left of the car. Keep these wheels locked.
Make sure that
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Right, so we're going to wait until the car's nice and straight between the lines. Right, so we need those wheels nice and straight. There we go. We're going to look over your left shoulder, looking where we're going. Your other left, that's it. Because we want to see where the ball is. There you go. Right, what do you reckon? We in the lines? Yeah. That's right, isn't it? Bang in the middle, that would be.
Yep.
Alright, so it's important that we make sure the wheels are nice and straight until we need them, and when we turn them, all the way to the lock.
Yep.
Right then, so what I've done is I've put the handbrake on, so that's going to allow you to set your pedals, and we've got a nice straight run up the ramp. Okay. There is possibility that there could be people coming from that side.
One coming in.
Yeah, so we'll let them do their thing.
That'd be Thomas.
That's your friends there.
Yeah. Can I put it down?
It's up to you.
But they're technically they'd have priority, wouldn't they?
That's the one.
Okay. Can we go?
If your feet are ready, so handbrake on ready. Remember how we set our feet with the handbrake?
So brake on and then.
We need to be in gear, don't we? And then we need to find the biting point symptoms, so we're going to slowly come up, looking for the vibration, looking for the bonnet lift. Just a little bit, so back up a little bit. So subtle symptoms, smaller symptoms. So if we're happy that they're staying put.
Okay. Is he going to go?
I'm not sure.
We'll dart first because it might give them some confidence as well.
Sounds like they're getting ready to set off.
Yeah, let's go.
Right, so what we need to wait for is for them to clear the ramp before we go on it, because what we don't want is both of you on there together. So if you touch down for me just whilst we're waiting for them to sort themselves out. Right, so we can set them pedals up. There we go, handbrake down. And we're going to be clutch up just a little bit more, but we're going to be checking to the left just to make sure. There we go. Okay, they're going to wait for us, so slowly with that clutch pedal, and then working our way off that clutch pedal. That's it. Good. So we're going to follow it round into the left.
Just said thank you.
That's okay, mate. It's all good.
I think that's something to say thank you, isn't it? Like a couple of flashes of the.
A lot of people do. It's like flashing of the headlights. It's
Yeah. It's just if they're behind you.
A lot of lorry drivers and people like that tend to. We're right there and up to the end of the road for us. Turning left for me, please. Left at the very end. So we need two mirrors first. So a centre and then a left one. Good. Then left signal goes downwards. Good. And do you reckon we're going to be stopping or rolling? Touch down if you're stopping. Right, should we go handbrake or are we okay without?
There's a car coming down. There's one coming down at speed, so.
So should we go handbrake? So if you go handbrake on, there we go, that frees up your brake pedal. There we go, so we don't need your brake pedal. Slowly up to your biting point. Any subtle symptoms, and then if you're happy it's clear, handbrake down and then round we go. So what we don't want to do is find the big biting symptoms, then push it all the way down. So we want to find subtle biting point symptoms, and then hold your foot still.
Around to the left.
These guys are parking, so make sure you don't give them.
Sorry.
That's it.
Sorry, I'm really heavy on the brake.
It's okay, mate. It's absolutely fine. The main thing is that we're stopping, isn't it?
I'm just gonna make sure it's hard road. Well, not exactly all the way hard though.
Yeah, we're okay.
That's hard down.
Right, so when these guys are safely into their space, you can then think about getting things moving again.
Touchdown.
So slowly start lifting him up again. Yeah. Perfect, so we just do one more lap, then we're going to be looking to park up ourselves to finish up. So as we come up to the give way sign, just nice and cautious as always. Looks like most people are stopping, but you never know, there could be somebody left out.
Yeah. Was that the end of the lesson after that?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much done now. Okay, gently off the brakes, right mate, slowly clutch off the wheel. Nice one, we'll aim for the gap in between the centre wall and the stairwell. We're all nice and clear, so we'll aim straight away for the gap in the whites and have the yellow one to look when we go in. Here we go. That's it, good. A little bit. There we go. Good, so try not to just clutch down. What we need to do is always clutching down with a purpose. So we're either stopping and or changing gear. I know earlier on when we were going slow we needed to clutch foot down, but that's because we were going slower than what we are here. So the trouble with driving is we've got all these rules. Some of them do sound like contradictions, but it really does depend on the location and what's actually happening as to what's the appropriate thing to do. Right, so what we'll do is I'm going to help you out with the pedals to manoeuvre us into a space. You're going to be in charge of the hands. Which space do you fancy us going into? We can either aim between...
should we wait for them to go in because they look like they're going to go in?
Yeah, but which space do you want to go into? Do you want to go in between those two white ones off the pedals?
In the middle.
In the middle, okay.
Just wait here.
Yeah. I reckon if you start turning your side for me. That's it. And then
Stop.
really big turn my side. That's it. What we'll do instead is we'll go on the end, and then that way they can park and we can park. So nice big turn. And then hold your hand still for a second. There we go. Now we need to check to the front and left of the car just to make sure the front's not swinging into danger. And then yeah, just going in between those two lines, we're looking good. Just need to get it so nice and straight.
Okay, good. Stop.
Nice one. Right, so if you'd like to switch the engine off and then pass me the key. That's absolutely perfect, thank you. Right then. So what do you think of that today?
That's good.
Nice one. Well, I managed to learn some new skills and set things up nicely for you. Right, so level 1, what I'll do is I'll sign you off for that one, but I'll just explain very briefly what it all means. Right, so pre-drive checks and adjustments, so that's what we call the cockpit drill at the start, and we've got an acronym to help us remember. So door, seat, steering, seat belt and mirrors. Part of the pre-drive checks, need to make sure we're in neutral, and that links nicely into starting the car. With you, making sure that we're letting go of that ignition key. We don't want to keep twisting away because otherwise it will wear the car out. Moving away, how do we make the car move away?
We're lifting off the clutch.
Good. Crucially, it has to be slowly, isn't it? Slowly.
Find a biting point.
Find a biting point. Absolutely perfect. So get biting point symptoms if your handbrake's on. If not, as the car starts pulling away, you've got to pause that foot nice and still. How about stopping? How do we stop the car?
And brake and also pushing right down on the clutch.
Perfect, right. And it's important that we're separating up between if we're going that slowly and we need to clutch it down, or if we just need to slow down. So the rules are different. If we're just slowing down, you're better off keeping the clutch pedal up to give us some engine braking. If we're slowing down to a stop, then yes, we do need to clutch down. Stop the car from trying to continue pulling us forward. So there is differences as to what we need to do with those pedals. And then steering, we spent a little bit of time in the slalom zone, just working on those steering skills, just tidying things up a little bit there, but all not. 16th today. Right, so activities covered. That's all level 1. What would you say you need more practice on?
Probably the clutch.
So moving away and stopping, or just moving away?
When you're moving away. And also stopping, maybe not too hard on the brake.
If I put braking gently. Is that alright? I'm going to put a note here for steering as well, because although it's very good, if we relax too much then hands tend to get a little bit creative with the technique. And like I said, obviously I'd rather you were holding the right line, which is what you were doing, and that's the most important thing. But if we plan ahead for it, then we can do that lovely pull push steering as well. Right, so move on to level 2. Right, so what we'll do is we'll get you back to reception, get your stamp done. Be careful when you do get out of the car, there is still a few people still manoeuvring. I'll just get your card sorted out with the camera.